I think it's fair to say that The Flash has its fair share of issues, but one of the biggest ones is for a movie all about a guy whose whole thing is running, he runs like he's still trying to figure out what his limbs do. I want to focus on this scene in particular, where the Flash runs from Central City to Gotham all in one shot. It's actually a really cool scene, but I just can't enjoy it to its fullest because I'm distracted by this goofy running. So I'm going to try to use my VFX skills to make the Flash run like a normal human. So first, I took this shot from the movie and cut it down in DaVinci Resolve so that it would be a bit more manageable. So instead of having to replace 40 seconds worth of running, I just have to replace like 7. Now obviously I'd love to fix the whole movie, but I've got finals next week and literally no sense of time management, so I have to get this done in a week. Kind of like the VFX artist for the actual movie. So first I needed a 3D model of the Flash. After looking around on Google, I found this really nice model from CVRX Earth on Sketchfab. Thank you for your services. It is not 100% accurate to the movie since it uses the mask from his Justice League suit, but I'm completely fine with that because the mask is the worst part of the movie suit. Like, I'm not a costume designer or anything, but it just frames his face in a really unflattering way. He looks weird. Anywho, the model itself was really nice, but the materials did take a little bit of TLC to get looking good. So I started by downloading a leather texture and applying that to the suit. I got the texture from productioncrate.com. They have a lot of VFX assets and 3D models you can download, but did you also know that they have materials? Now most of them are listed as pro only, but if you're on the free plan like I am, you can actually download a 1K version of them. They aren't sponsoring this video, I just think they're really cool. Then I found this line pattern on Canva to replicate the kind of maze pattern he has going on a suit. So I used texture painting to isolate where I wanted that to show up on the suit, then used that to drive some bump on the suit. I played around a bit with adding the glowing lines he has in the movie, but ultimately decided that it looked better without them. Now at this point the suit was looking pretty good, but I wasn't happy with the face. It was looking kind of waxy. Kind of like the faces in the actual movie. Okay, I'm done taking shots of the movie. I can't promise that. I thought it would be a cool detail if I added Ezra Miller's actual face to it.
It's my face. Still my face.
Now if you saw my MODOK video, you know that there's a website that lets you take a picture of a face and turn that into a 3D model. Then I can project that image back onto the model as the texture. Now ideally for this method, you want to find a picture where they're looking straight at the camera and with very neutral lighting. Yeah, that'll work. To do this, you just want to look at your face through the front view, then press Ctrl-Alt Numpad 0 to set that as the camera view. Then add your picture as the background image in the camera. In edit mode, you can use proportional editing to make sure everything fits. Then in the UV tab, select everything from the camera's view, right-click and hit Project from View. Now you can give that a material and plug your image into the color. You can make it look better by bringing down the roughness, maybe use your image to add some bump for some added detail, then give it some subsurface scattering. This obviously won't hold up on close-ups, but it works surprisingly well for more out-of-focus stuff. Also, I can't prove this, but I'm like 70% sure this is what they did for those awful CGI cameos. Who thought those were a good idea? So now I needed to make a move. I exported everything as an FBX and threw that into Mixamo to rig it and get some animation. I found this running animation and brought out the speed and the overdrive to make him go fast. So I exported my rig and the animation as an FBX and brought that into my scene. I applied the animation to my rig, but the arms were clipping into himself. After fiddling around a bit, I figured out it was because his rest position was in an A pose instead of a T pose. It took like 50 Google searches, but I eventually fixed it and now he was running. Next I started working on matching the camera from the original shot. Now obviously getting a good camera track on this shot would be basically impossible, so I just had to